This morning it broke that one of the new files that was released by the Department of Justice was a letter apparently written by Jeffrey Epstein to Larry Nassar. We sent you the link. What do you think of that? What's your initial reaction?
Disgusting, disturbing, nauseating, predictable, upsetting to all survivors, not just the Nassar survivors. And I also have to believe that they ought to add some extra protection for Nassar in his incarceration. I don't wish ill against him. I think he needs to sit every single day thinking about what he did, but he's been attacked a few times. I don't wish that on anyone, but I think this poses difficulties for him as well in prison.
Right? That I hadn't even thought about that. Um, let's talk just a minute about the survivors. You call them the sisterhood. Um, how does this impact them? I mean, I suspect they probably weren't aware of the contents of the letter. We know the letter itself had been recorded, but not the contents.
Many of them are healing, many of them are still struggling, but it doesn't matter what stage they're at. And I don't speak for them, but I have contact with a lot of them. And every time they hear something like this, it's a setback. They're reliving what happened to them. They are worried about other survivors. There's so many things that they go through. And this is just another situation where Nasser failed, and it's a reminder of what he did to them specifically.
So this was sent by Epstein while he was in incarceration to Nasser while he was incarcerated in Arizona. Do we need to do something to stop convicted sex offenders from communicating with each other through the prison system?
I have two answers to that. Yes, because I think they ought not communicate and have that privilege. It's not a right, it's a privilege when you're in prison. On the other hand, it's very instructive, and we may get evidence out of that. I mean, had Epstein lived, maybe there would be a deeper dive into not just what happened, but did they collude? Were there other offenses, other victims? So I don't know. I think that's a double-edged sword. The communication oftentimes goes against them.
Okay. Um, I guess then you also had raised some concerns about the fact that, you know, sex offenders often offend against their victims multiple times, but we only charge one or two instances of that. Talk a little bit about that and why you think that's relevant to this conversation with the letter between Epstein and Nasser.
An absolute legal failure. If we have a property crime and there's a home invasion, carjacking, credit card stolen, all of those things are charged, even though it might be out of one act. Yet, when a victim comes forward and says, I can document 50 times, or Trene Gonzer saying, I can document 848 times that I was assaulted, there's only one charge. Sometimes there's two or three. But every single time a victim is wrongly touched, there should be a charge because it sends a message. It will not be tolerated, but also the first day it's reported, that victim feels fully heard. We are re-victimizing if we do not charge each and every incident and let it go through the system and let the jury decide.
And
Imagine with Epstein, imagine with Epstein and with Nasser, just how many counts there would have been and what message that would have sent to the public, to other people who are victimizing women, children, men, boys. And I think opening up this whole discussion is that important.
well, on that same vein, the letter, and again, it's not verified that it was actually written by Mr. Epstein, but it would be an awful lot to fake it, I think. But it does mention Mr. Trump. What does that say? I mean, you've got the White House is saying, he's done nothing wrong. this is all manufactured. It's, people make up things. What does that say to you as a judge who has presided over multiple criminal sexual cases and probably seen folks communicating, as you talked about the mail being a tool that can be used against somebody?
Well, there's always a presumption of innocence, so let's start there. But there should be an investigation. I don't care if it's the president, the governor, the garbage collector. It doesn't matter who you are. If there's an allegation, investigate. And the president does not or should not have immunity from this. And otherwise, we are sending a message that the rich and powerful get away with whatever they want, and others don't.
Okay. Is there anything that
I think there was a different part of your question that I didn't answer because
it was more of what is it? Does is it really implicating the president, or I mean, you're an attorney. I know you teach in
yeah,
law school,
look,
and you're a judge, and
there's the presumption of innocence. So let's start with that.
right.
However, most, not all, I've had a few defendants say, yeah, I did it. Let's just get it over with. Most of them say not guilty. And then many plead, and then many are charged with a guilt offense or offenses by the jury. Sometimes there's a not guilty, but their first implication of, oh, me? Not me, because it's about power and control, and they want to always remain in control. Even Nassar, till the end, I'm doing this for you. I didn't, if I did anything, it's malpractice. He really never owned it. I don't know if he owns it today. So the mindset of a predator is power and control. Of course, they did nothing wrong.
Okay.
It's always about grooming and gaslighting.
Okay. Anything I didn't ask you that you think is really important as it relates to sort of this newly surfaced letter, which is pretty shocking, frankly.
I, it's shocking. It warrants investigation. I think the next question that has to be asked is the president is the president is the president willing to open an investigation to prove his innocence, even though technically defendants don't have to prove their innocence or to do anything at all. This is damning, and it really erodes the confidence in the White House. So if he wants to keep confidence and to preserve his reputation, he needs to instigate the investigation. Otherwise, guilt by association is a very real thing.